What is it and what matters? No, by Coach Ann Jordan. Coach Ann, good morning.
Hello, Coach Lisa. Thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning sa lahat sa FB Live natin at sa ating dito sa room natin ngayon. So, yeah, like everyone else, kami po may mga result din dito. So, before Herbalife, ako po, nagsasuffer po ako ng painful menstruation for the longest time. Talagang hirap na hirap ako before. So, nagkaroon po ako ng laparoscopic surgery that is due to my endometriosis. Tapos, medyo na okay naman pero bumabalik siya. And later na-diagnosed ako with a papillary cancer that's on my thyroid. So I had total thyroidectomy. I went through radiation therapy. Sobrang hirap. At that time talaga ang pinaka-challenge is parang nagigain ako ng weight pero yung energy level ko sobrang baba talaga na umabot ako sa point na talagang kahit toothbrush ko, baso, nahuhulog yan. So sabi ko, hala, ano kaya pwede kong gagawin? So, syempre, nagpagamot talaga ako, but with the help of our healthy breakfast, yung nutritionist food natin talaga is nakatulong sa akin na nag-improve yung health ko. So, ginamit ko siya. And unti-unti po yung, alam mo yung dati na parang ang hirap matulog, nabigyan na po ako ng talagang very early, feeling ko talagang ang sarap na ng tulog ko tuloy-tuloy and na-regain ko po yung energy level ko. So sabi ko, tuloy-tuloy ko lang kung anong meron dito. And that time I was invited to attend the extravaganza na talagang dun ako na-inspire. Nakita ko yung bigger picture ng Herbalife at saka yung company natin, the product. Talaga yung product, results natin, napakadaming natulungan. So sabi ko, thanks God talaga sa Herbalife. And ito yung pinaka breakfast ko for 13 years now na talagang nai-enjoy ko. So thanks God talaga sa Herbalife. Okay, so ngayon, ang topic ko ngayon isi-share sa inyo is Glycemic Index 101. What it is and why it matters. This is shared to us by our Senior Director, Worldwide Nutrition Education and Training, si Ms. Susan Bowerman. So, glycemic index kasi might be a popular concept, though isa siya sa, it's not that all easy para maintindihan. Kasi when I first came here, parang sabi ko, ano ba yun? Parang ang hirap intindihin. So, yeah, bigyan natin siya ng nickname, GI, okay, Glycemic Index. So, but since it relates doon sa overall quality of our diet and also meron siyang implication talaga sa weight loss or weight management, it is important na maintindihan natin that this concept and how it can help us make better choices. Okay? So the glycemic index looks at the effect of yung carbohydrate-containing foods on sugar levels in our bloodstream. So whenever we eat and digest yung carbohydrate-rich foods like yung mga fruits, vegetables, grains, and sweets, the end result is a rise in our blood sugar or the blood glucose. So, alam kong naririnig natin to, kaya nga nagiging kasama talaga to sa atin every day, yung healthy breakfast natin na explanation, andun siya, para din maintindihan natin siya every day and we can share this, yung value natin. Kasi the sugar in our blood is very important. It's the primary fuel actually siya for our brain, sa muscles natin, and it's a large part talaga siya that keeps us going mentally and physical throughout the day. Next, please. But, next slide, please. Hindi po siya second slide. Next. Yung glycemic index rank. Sige po. Ma'am Annalyn. Yan. So, but not all carbohydrates containing foods cause your blood sugar to rise to the same degree. So, and this is where the glycemic index comes in. So, yung GI ranks foods according on how much and how rapidly they cause the blood sugar to rise after they're eaten. So nakita ninyo, meron siyang classification from low, may medium, and tsaka high. The glycemic index is about the quality of the carbohydrates, not the quantity. Okay, next please. So, how was the glycemic index established po? The first paper on the glycemic index was published almost 40 years ago and described how a small group of people were used to establish the index. So, according to actually si Dr. David Jenkins, a professor of nutrition at the University of Toronto, invented glycemic index in 1981. So, nagkaroon po ng mga volunteers. They were fed with 62 different foods in an amount necessary to supply yung 50 grams of carbohydrates. Of course, it varies yung food from a lot of food. And dito nakita nila, it takes about 60 baby carrots. So baby carrots is like this big only, yung parang pinky lang natin, di ba? That's 60 baby carrots and a mereful cooked rice. So nakita nila talaga na mataas yung GI sa rice. Tapos nagtitest sila over yung 2-hour period. So the effect naman of each food on sugar o blood sugar was compared to the effect sa 50 grams naman of pure glucose nila, and which was given a value of yung 100. So foods that cause the blood sugar to rise quickly and steeply had a number less dramatic rise in sugar, yun naman is mga low GI. So values of 70 or more, na-place naman siya sa high GI. So low GI are 55 and less, and ang high is 70. Okay, next please. So ito, nakikita natin which foods have the highest glycemic index. These are the foods that are high on GI and are generally low in fiber but starchy or sugar. So kanina naririnig nyo, lagi itong sinishare ni Mother, yung sweet cereals. Sabi nga, in one cereal, parang isang pitcher of sugar. That's really high ang sugar niya. And syempre yung white rice, the white bread, tsaka yung noodles, and yung mga fruit juices. So since these foods are digested and absorbed relatively quickly, they tend to cause fairly large and rapid rise dun sa blood sugar natin. So this burst of sugar naman sound like, yeah, medyo okay, pero ang sarap yung feeling mo, nabubusog ka, pero hindi po talaga maganda yung result sa atin. Next, please. Ayan, so which foods naman have a low glycemic index? So the lowest GI foods tend to be carbohydrate-rich food that are whole and unprocessed. So like the vegetables, yung whole fruits, the beans, at saka most 100% whole grain. Kasi maraming nagki-claim din minsan na yung mga whole grain nila is actually hindi siya 100%. But we should go for like brown rice, rolled oats, the barley or the quinoa, and 100% whole grain na mga bread. Yan yung talagang ano siya, low glycemic index. Yan. So those are just some examples. So next is glycemic index isn't the whole story. Yan. So if we use GI or glycemic index as a guide to choose sa mga pagkain natin, it can steer you towards food that are less carb heavy. Like yung mga whole grains, veggies, with fewer calories per bite. But you should know that this is always the case. Ayan, nakita natin yan sa talking points natin. Yes, watermelon is high. Some foods, like ice cream, have a low glycemic index because their high fat content slows digestion. Yan, dito ko lang ito nalaman, sabi ko, ganito pala yun. Pero, remember naman yung calories mo dyan at saka fats. So, hindi siya lahat naman na pwedeng mag-shoot up yung sugar level mo. It will help. At saka yung quantity din na kinakain natin. So, hindi naman siya bawal, basta ayusin lang natin yung, di ba, a scoop of that is not bad. Okay? And sa watermelon naman is nakita natin na high siya, 80 siya actually, pero hindi naman siya kinakain natin buong watermelon, di ba? So actually, watermelon, it takes, di ba, you need 5 servings of watermelon to get 50 grams of carbohydrates para ma-meet natin yon. Since a typical serving only 10 grams of carbohydrates, so it doesn't really raise yung blood sugar natin. So this is where the concept of tinatawag naman na glycemic load. So the glycemic load food is a calculation that takes into account both yung GI natin or the glycemic index and the amount of carbohydrates per serving. So while watermelon has a high GI, so it has a low glycemic load na tawag. Okay, so if you were to focus on GI values alone, maybe we end up na i-omit natin yung mga pagkain na ganyan na healthy din yan, but it should be in moderation din. Okay? So, next please. Ayan, so ito yung pinakamaganda dito. Using the glycemic index to reduce your overall carbohydrate load. Magkaroon tayo ng food swap. Like for example, from nag-white rice ka, this is very common talaga na mas gusto natin to, mas gusto ng pamilya natin, but if you are still starting, pwede mo siyang i-swap into brown rice. Ito naman, sinasuggest ko, wag naman biglain lahat. Ako, when I started, talagang from parang 1:1. Kung 1 cup of white rice and then brown rice. Until right now, talagang brown rice na. So, para yung family nyo, hindi naman yun, ano sila na, hindi na talaga kakain ng rice. Okay? And if you can avoid, and then you can swap it to vegetables, mas maganda. So, from white bread, punta kayo sa wholemeal na bread or whole wheat. In your instant oats and to rolled oats, in potato to sweet potato, which is mas masarap siya, di ba? And from chips to nuts, which is yung mga coaches ngayon yan, magaling na yan sila kumain ng nuts compare sa mga chips. Alright? Okay, next please. Okay, so ito yung pinakaganda because Herbalife gives us yung healthy breakfast natin. At saka meron siyang mga tablets na tumutulong sa atin na high in fiber. We have the aloe, we have the fiber and herbs, the fiber band, and yung mga simply prebiotic, probiotic natin na nakakatulong sa atin. Actually, yung healthy breakfast natin na sinishare every morning, talagang ano natin yan, i-share lang natin, alamin natin at saka i-share natin kasi our products really helps na talagang certified low glycemic index talaga yung shake natin. Yes, next please. Yan, so kung nakikita nyo, ito yung shake natin na certified low glycemic index from 15 to 20. Can you imagine that? Very low talaga siya, but you feel fuller. Ang sarap ng pakiramdam mo, low calorie, zero ang fats niya. So it really helps you na talagang nag-gives you energy every day na ginagamit natin siya. So, thank you so much. I hope that you learned something today about yung glycemic index. So we are so proud kasi we are #1 in meal replacement and protein supplements combined in meal replacement and protein supplements combined and the weight management and well-being and also in the active and lifestyle nutrition. Thank you guys.